Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be starting off tonight with taking a look at your COVID numbers. There are 38 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. There's only one case in the Northwest, and it is not in the immediate Lloydminster area. 362 cases are active province-wide, with 30 of those in our zone. 50 people are in hospital, with 4 in the Northwest. More than 1.39 million doses of the vaccine have been administered, with around 86,000 in our zone. 62% of residents 12 years of age and older are now fully vaccinated. Albertans are heading to the polls on October 18th to vote in municipal elections. While Lloydminster has already held civic elections last year in line with Saskatchewan legislation, residents on the Alberta side will still have the opportunity to vote on referendum questions.
When Albertans vote on October 18th, they'll be able to vote on more than just a mayor and council. The province will be asking 2 referendum questions and will allow voters to nominate individuals for possible appointment to the Senate.
It just isn't fair.
Lloydminster residents on the Alberta side will be able to vote in the Senate nomination election and referendum questions. The first question asks if the principle of equalization should be removed from the Canadian Constitution, and the second will center around if Alberta should end the practice of changing our clocks twice a year.
It would make good sense to remain on daylight saving time, if for no other reason than because we want to remain synchronized with our neighbors as much as possible.
While the entire city of Lloydminster follows Alberta in changing our clocks, Minister Nate Glubish pointed to the border city as a region that would benefit from a possible time change.
This makes things interesting for the border city of Lloydminster, which, with the Alberta time zone extending beyond its borders to include the entire city.
Mayor Gerald Albers provided his personal opinion on the matter.
The idea of staying on one time is very appealing to me and to my family and to people I know. So I'm sure that people would like to know one way or another.
The final wording of the question is still being finalized, and in the end, the decision is up to voters on October 18th. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
I chatted with a USA Today best-selling author about the release of her latest novel called Never Say Sever in Deadwood. I'm joined here today with Anne Charles, author of Never Say Sever in Deadwood, that was released back in June. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on here.
Of course. So is this book a part of a series?
It is. It is the 12th book in my Deadwood mystery series.
And what's all involved in this mystery series for readers unaware?
Okay, well, it's first of all, it's a mix of mystery and supernatural with a lot of humor thrown in, and it's contemporary. So it's, not the hard-boiled crime type of book, and it's more of a really mixed genre type of story. Violet Parker is the heroine. She's a single mom with 2 twins that are almost 10. And she's trying to sell real estate in the small town of Deadwood, South Dakota, which is a little mountain mining history town. And it's not easy. And every place seems to be haunted that she's trying to sell. So that's where the supernatural comes in and makes it so much fun because she can't see the ghost. She's a dud. And all the people around her can see things and experience things. So when we're only ever in Violet's point of view, so seeing out through her eyes and trying to figure out, is this real or is this person, a little off the rocker or what's going on? So that's kind of the mystery. And in each book, there's different mysteries, within that wraps up each book, but there's a whole series going on with her growth, in character and what she can do and what she can see and all that keeps it going, and like I said, this is book 12, and next I'll be working on book 13, probably early next year.
And I know you are USA Today best-selling author, but this series has even won multiple national awards, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's been incredible. The fans and readers have really enjoyed the series, and we have a great time. We meet every year in Deadwood, South Dakota for an annual fan party even, and hang out and see some of the places, because I really try to incorporate, the real setting with fiction added in, so you can go see where the different buildings are that we talk about, which adds kind of a fun element to it.
And how has readers' reaction been since releasing this 12th novel in the series?
So far, so good. I think we're over 300 reviews on Amazon already. High up, they love it. Everything I'm reading and hearing back from them, and it was fun. It's action packed. It's one of the best book yet, which is always scary as an author when you hear, oh, it's the best book yet in the series, because then you think, oh, now I've got to work even harder for the next book, and it's a constant thing to keep trying to do better and better and better.
Yes, I was going to ask if the support was the same as your previous work for the Deadwood Mystery series, but you're saying that there was even more for this one?
Yes, because with each book, there's a lot of time that goes in behind the scenes with promotion and building readership. So this book, the first in the series, Nearly Departed in Deadwood, came out in January of 2011. So now we have 10 years of building, an audience for the series. And with each year and each new release, it gets bigger as we reach further. And the book is in audio, it's ebook, it's print. So you can get it in multiple formats, which really helps grow your readership as well.
Now, was there anything different that you had for the 12th novel that was just released back in June compared to the last 11 books in the series?
Well, with each book, I try to do something a little different behind the scenes within the structure of the story. I'm always studying different story structures, a lot of movies, because that's where I really learn. I'm very visual when it comes to learning. So I study movies. And in this particular book, I work to this idea of threading the end of each chapter to the start of the new chapter with similar words, even, like you end with, and that was that. And maybe the next chapter starts, and that wasn't that, and then you keep going. So that was really fun to do, an experiment to see how it affected the pace. And I'm hearing from a lot of readers how much they love that and the fast-paced feel of it because of that.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for readers to know about and where they can access this novel?
You can access this novel as well as all the other books I have. I've got 5 series that I write, and they're all ongoing. And you can go to my website at www.anncharles.com. And there's no E in that, just ANN Charles. And then you can find all the different places to buy it. But it's also on Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Amazon, Apple, the big guys, and as well as audio. So it's just type in Deadwood Mystery Series and you should be able to see where you can purchase it if you want.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much again for joining me today, Anne, and congratulations on your 12th newest book of the Deadwood Mystery Series.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
We'll have more Primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back, everybody, to this edition of Pet Project. I'm joined once again with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster and Community SPCA. Becca, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
We're doing great over here. So who are we speaking with today? Who are we showcasing?
This crazy lady here is Samantha. So she has kind of been a special case with us here at the SPCA for a little while now. She's been adopted from us twice. And so I think we're just kind of gradually figuring out what she needs and where she would be best suited. So initially, the first time she was adopted was with another kitty, and she just didn't get along with that kitty at all. So unfortunately, she had to come back. And then the second time around, she was adopted into an apartment, and she kept trying to escape to get outside. So we know from just history, it seems that she is probably pretty used to being outside. And not a big fan of other cats. Even in the condo here, she's blocked off from the other kitties. So she's got a bit of an attitude, but with people, she's quite good. Even with her playing with me right now, she's being really gentle. Even though it looks like she's biting and everything, she's just playing nice. And but yeah, other than that, she quite loves attention. So we think that if she were to go to a home here in town, she would probably be best if you made like a catio for her to try and just keep her as safe as possible. And then out in the country, you know, she'd probably love to be a bit of a mouser, things like that. So we're just gradually figuring her out more and more every day.
Beautiful. So she sounds like a wonderful cat that maybe just hasn't quite found her, you know, niche environment, so to speak, which is understandable. Some cats, they have different needs, right? So, you know, obviously one home doesn't fit for all kitties out there in the world. So if anybody out there feels like you might be a good fit, you know, certainly stop by the SPCA, maybe say hi, you know. Beautiful. So, Becca, we had a few things going on last week that we were chatting about. One of them was you guys had a fundraiser last Friday. So that was a 50-50 draw that you guys did at a local golf tournament. So how did that all turn out?
It was really good. It was a lot of fun. We got to cruise around the course on a pretty nifty little golf cart. We had a couple other people with us selling the drink tickets as well. So we had a lot of fun with the ladies there too. Yeah, you know, we were just out and having a great time. And so we were able to make, with the 50-50s all together, it came to $1,290. So out of that, the winner got $645, and as did we. So we were quite happy with that. And like I said, it was a lot of fun, and we were happy to get out in the community again.
Well, that's great to hear. It's always good, you know, when you can go out, enjoy the sunshine, raise a little bit of money. So great news.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, parlaying on to the next topic, you guys currently have a fundraiser going with The Scoop, which is obviously a local ice cream shop here in town. And they're a wonderful little business. I love stopping by and grabbing, you know, a scoop or two from them. So last week, I know I saw it was Tiger Tail, which is one of my favorite ice creams. So I might have to stop by tonight before they switch the flavors over, because we were talking off camera and you said that they're going to do a new flavor every week. So tomorrow is Wednesday, and they're going to have a new flavor for the SPCA. That's correct?
Yes. Yeah. So they do it for every Wednesday each week for the next 6 weeks. So yeah, like you said, last Wednesday was Tiger, and then this week we haven't found out yet. So, but I'm sure we'll find out by tomorrow morning, and we'll post that as well. So yeah, it's just every Wednesday, and then same thing if they have a flavor there that you just don't care for, they also have a donation jar there for us as well if you want to make a donation to us.
Great. So there you go, guys. Definitely make sure to check in tomorrow and see what the flavor of the week is. Maybe, you know, go ahead and mark that on your schedule to stop by The Scoop after work to get yourself a treat and to support a good cause. Wonderful. And you guys have another one coming up this week. I know, you know, it's great that you guys have so many fundraisers on the go, because the SPCA obviously is always in need of funds, being a nonprofit. But just real quick, let's touch on that. You guys have a fundraiser with Culligan coming up.
Yeah. So they have their coin op at Culligan Water. So it's the RO machine. So every month it's called the Community Fund. So every month they pick a different organization that they want to support. So this July we were lucky enough to be chosen. So they're just everything that goes into that coin op at Culligan Water comes right back to us. And the same every month, it just goes right back into another charity. So it's just a really great opportunity that they've started, and we couldn't be happier to be a part of it.
Beautiful. Well, that's great to hear, obviously, to raise money. You know, people are always buying water. And, you know, maybe if you live on an acreage, I know a lot of people who do, they stock up during the week. You know, they might have 10 Culligan jugs at their home, so they only have to pick up, you know, once a month or two. So maybe if you're one of those people, you stop in, you get all your jugs filled up this month so that, you know you're supporting this great cause. And yeah, you can do good and get a delicious, you know, jug of water. So perfect. All right, that's unfortunately all the time we have this week, Becca, but I want to thank you. I want to thank Samantha for stopping by. It looks like she played herself out. She's ready for a nap. So great to see, great to see. Thank you so much, Becca, and we will speak with you again next week.
Perfect. See you next week.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
That's all for news. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Last Wednesday, a charity hockey game was hosted in Wainwright. The third annual Celebrity Charity Hockey Game saw junior, collegiate, and pro players raising money for a new CT scanner.
"34 players and plenty more fans packed into the Peace Memorial Multiplex for a night of fun and funding. The Rotary Club of Wainwright partnered up with the local health foundation and others to get the project underway.
Bumper to Bumper had been raising for about 27 years at that point in time, had a golf tournament where they put a lot of money in the hospital. So they partnered with us as well. We then went to Alberta Health Services, and our commitment was to raise $2.2 million to go towards the CT scanner in the Wainwright Hospital.
Ahead of the game, $1.8 million had been raised for the project, with proceeds from admission and 50-50 also going to the project. The game saw over half a dozen pro players face off with one another, including captains for the game, new Seattle Kraken D-men, Carson Soucy, and center ice for the Iowa Wild of the American Hockey League, Mason Shaw.
It's just nice to help out the cause and give the people around the area something to come watch, because it's been a long time since they've been able to enjoy something like this. So I'm sure the locals are going to enjoy it, and I know we are for sure.
Close to 2,000 fans attended the game. That's nearly the same amount that have to drive for a CT scan. In an Alberta Health Services tally, over 3,000 people a year travel from the Midwest region to get the scan.
It'll make it so much easier for local people to get the CT scan done right here in town, and so we're really quite excited about it.
Installation of the scanner is set to start in a number of months and is scheduled to be complete by August 2022. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Farmers in the Lloydminster area have been dealing with hot and dry conditions, which are impacting their crops. Last Thursday's hailstorm made matters worse for some farmers. Julian Code has a story.
The hailstorm that quickly blew through the Lloydminster area last week damaged gardens and downed tree limbs. Just off of Highway 619, Clint Howard's cornfield was left splintered.
Well, the storm come in just before supper there and come in real fast, and the winds picked up hard, and then the hail started coming, and it come down really hard and for a short period of time, and then it quit, and that was and the damage was done.
Last week's hailstorm lasted only a few minutes, but as you can see here, it left a path of destruction. These crops still have about a month or so to go before harvest, so with perfect conditions, there is time to make up for some of the damage that this storm caused.
This field will be used to feed cattle. Howard says his herd typically spends 3 months foraging, but with this year's conditions, he estimates this field will only sustain the herd for a few weeks. Across the road, canola plants were also damaged. These white marks on the stem and pods show where hail hit the plant. These wounds can become a point of entry for airborne diseases like sclerotinia and blackleg.
Things might be okay, it's just, I don't know. Some of the crops are going to be done, it'll be right off, but some of them might pull through enough to get at least cover some of our costs anyways.
Damage caused by the quick hailstorm rubbed salt in the wound of farmers who are already experiencing historic drought conditions.
If it stays dry, it won't be just this year we have to worry about it being next year too, because if it stays this dry, the ground gets so dry that this is how 2002, the big drought in 2002 happened. It's just 2001 was like this, and then the next year was worse, so that's what I'm a little concerned about too.
Both Alberta and Saskatchewan provincial governments have requested assessment from the federal government for agri-recovery, a disaster assistance program for farmers impacted by extreme conditions. Jillian Code, Primetime Local News.
Now let's have a look at your egg prices.